Wednesday at 7.
What?
Wednesday at 7.
Yeah.
Wednesday at 7.
Oh, we played last Wednesday, I'm sure. I couldn't tell you when.
This Wednesday.
Oh, we have something Wednesday?
Coach Pryor is here to discuss Wednesday night's game against NDSU. 7 p.m. start at the bed.
First off, have you ever won 2 games in 2 different states in one day before?
State of confusion and state of hysteria, probably. But as far as geographical states, I don't think so. When we put that schedule together, we just thought it was a nice touch. We wanted to play New Mexico State as the only match. Mike was not letting that happen because he had a tournament to fill. So he said, you're going to play UNLV and us, or you're not playing either. So it was his place. So we said, okay, we'll come, play you both. Got out of the state as quick as we could.
How just crazy has these first couple of weeks been for your guys' team? And I don't want to say are you surprised, but are you surprised at how well you guys have come out of this one?
I'm surprised how well we've come out of it physically. I'm surprised at how well we've kind of come out of it socially. When you've got 20 people cramped up together for a long time, that can be tough on any organization. And it was really interesting just how when we finished last Saturday night, everyone was exhausted, but they're downstairs in the lobby just sitting around having conversation with family and friends. And you've got, seniors that are talking with the freshman parents. And it was a really light vibe. And so for me, I think the biggest surprise that we had just a really laid back attitude about the whole thing. We got done and 2 of our starters didn't even know what the record was afterward. And that's when I was like, okay, that's a success. We're just kind of staying in the moment and playing.
Talking about your record, you are 9-1 in your first 10 games. Is that where you wanted to be? Obviously, you want to be 10-0, but are you satisfied with a 9-1?
What's funny is when Aaron and me and I looked at the schedule and said, okay, here's what we're going to do. After their jaw kind of, picked up off the floor, they said, okay. And one of them, all 3 of us, one said 5-5, one said 6-4, and one said 7-3. And I'm not telling you who said what. But once we kind of got to those numbers, it was like we were kind of playing with house money. And I think the interesting thing is when you look at the scores, we were getting better. And that's scary. So it's exciting that we've got kids that are, mentally and physically exhausted on that trip, but they're still looking at stuff. Hey, what can I do better in this rotation? Or, what shot is going to be open for me in the next match? So I think from that standpoint, it was really encouraging to see that there was still a lot of learning going on.
What have you learned about your squad and the way they handle being either trailing in a match from a couple sets down or just dealing with the length of a 5-set match and how they've responded?
Well, when I first got here, one of the first things I did, and it's almost 4 years ago now, is we made a massive investment in what we do with our strength program. The results speak for themselves. When you're not physically tired, you're not going to make as many mental mistakes. And I think when you look, the longer the matches go, we end up kind of getting better as far as less mistakes, making more plays. So a lot of that goes to our strength staff. And then I think we've got some older kids, so they're comfortable. Okay, we've been behind before. Okay, that was ugly. Let's see what we can do to correct it and kind of go from there.
North Dakota State, finally, they picked up some wins this last weekend at their home tournament there. What are you expecting out of that on Wednesday?
This match is less than 3% of our entire season. It's one of those that what I can expect is they're going to be really, really motivated. They've got a couple positions where they're older. They've got a good libero. They've got a senior setter. They've got a senior left side now that's getting she's getting some playing time where she hasn't previously. They've got 2 very young middles. They've got a freshman on the right. We'll see. This is one of those matches to where no matter how much you prepare, it's more about controlling your emotion than anything else. Because I have a feeling they're out of all of the cities in North Dakota, I bet that Betty would be classified with the attendance number as probably a major metropolitan area about 7 o'clock Wednesday night.
So how do you control the emotion?
Another match. Just like everything else, it's another match. No, we don't prepare for it any differently. We don't talk about it any differently. We go in, we do our thing, and if it's good enough, it's good enough.
It has to be nice to be at the Betty with the fans, though. I mean, I'm sure this 10-game road trip is a little caveat of being at home. It's got to be nice for the players.
We knew when we put the schedule together, okay, we know we're going to be home on the third weekend, so we can kind of go on this 3-time zone cross-country fiesta, and then get back home. We knew it was going to be good. And what we also found out is that we were just excited that our fans are so much better than any other place that we went in these last 10 days. It wasn't even close. The facility, just as good, if not better. And Ole Miss opened up a brand new facility. We were the second match in there. And we're looking at it, yeah, this is nice. Ours is better. So that feels good.
What's the next step as a program? Do you care about the top 25 poll? Do you look closely at RPI? Where do you want to see?
I think the next step for us is embracing who we can be. It's one of those in between sets 2 and 3 against New Mexico State. We had a very one-sided, very ugly conversation that I don't enjoy having. But there comes a responsibility with being talented. We talked about it. I'm sure Superman sometimes does not want to get in that freaking phone booth. He didn't want to put the cape on. There's a job to do, and he does it. I'm sure there's a lot of days that we all don't want to get up and go to work, but we do. I think the kids kind of understand that, and they're starting to. I think as far as some of those things, when you look at rankings and stuff, we just got to keep doing what we're doing. There's a lot of other things that aid in us getting to those places, but we're doing our part right now as far as the players and the staff. We're doing about all we can do to kind of go from where we are to where we want to be. We'll look at it, and I think for us to say that we're not going to look at it, okay, that's a lie. I mean, that's just, it's human nature. I think that we've got a really good opportunity that every day I'll walk in, whether it's before a practice or before a match, and someone has written on the whiteboard, and it's never been me, we are 0-0. Every day. And that's the attitude they've had. It's not what about you done yesterday, what have you done tomorrow. What are you doing today to get better? Last year, the whole motto was, if you want to be the last team standing, you've got to be first. First in the gym, first to get extra reps, first to figure out if there's internal conflict, all of those things. This year, what we've really tried to work on is the more energy you give today, it's going to ease up tomorrow. So we're trying to be a little more present in this moment and just kind of focus on what we can do better today.
As far as preparing for NDSU, obviously you want to give them rest as well. How do you balance kind of preparation, but as far as rest goes, how do you work that in as well?
It's one of those things that the kids, they were kind of cracking me up, and they're like, so are we going to have a day off? And I was like, yeah, maybe sometime. And one of the kids looked back, and she actually goes to church with me here, and so we'll see her all the time. And she's like, even God rested on the 7th day. And I just kind of thought about it, and I was like, I bet he didn't have trouble siding out and receive 4, did he? And all of a sudden they were like, okay, we'll see you at practice. No, we've definitely taken some things. I think a lot of it was our preseason. We planned very intentional that we weren't going to go twice a day, every day for 2 weeks, that we're going to try to make sure that we gave them some rest. And this is a great opportunity for some of our older kids to get a little rest, maybe not jumping, but we can really get a lot of repetition for our younger kids because they're not getting as much practice time or playing time right now. So we're trying to balance that. It's all in the back of our minds that no matter what we do now, it comes down to 1 week in November. So as great as the start has been, and I don't mean to be Eeyore, but it doesn't matter with our conference. It doesn't matter. It comes down to what are we going to do once that middle of November rolls around, and can we play well for 3 days straight?
Just real quick, it's not only about NDSU this week. You are getting a homestand with another tournament involved at the end of the week. Just real quick about some of the opponents coming in.
George Washington has a new coach. We owe them. My first tournament coaching here in 2014 was in DC against George Washington, and they took it to us. It was not pleasant. So we'll play them. Appalachian State is in the Sun Belt, and App State has at times, been 2 points away from an NCAA tournament. A little younger this year. They've given a couple teams some issues. I know that coach exceptionally well, known him for a long time. I think that he does a good job. So they will be very similar to a Big Sky team. So I think that's a good thing. And then South Dakota State, it's one of the Dakotas. It's a great. I love that we're playing them on 11 a.m. on Saturday, so we can have everybody come out to that. I know tailgating opens at 8. However, you can't tailgate for 8 hours, or if you do, maybe you're in the SEC. So, but yeah, we play them at 11, and then we can hopefully get done with that, and everybody can get over to the football game.